Hello and welcome to day 3 of your 21-day mobility challenge. Today we are working on our 2 lateral lines that run laterally from our necks all the way down through the side of our body to the sides of our feet. Let's start in child's pose. Finding just a little bit of breath in your child's pose. And taking this into a little bit of a side bend, walking your hands over toward the right side of your mat and lengthening through the left side of your body. Think about finding length from your left hip all the way up through your left fingertips. Notice if you've created any sort of bend in your arm or your shoulder and lengthen that out. As you breathe here, maybe notice your right side body contracting a little bit to emphasize this bend, squeezing and engaging your oblique muscles in the side of your torso with every exhale. And with your next breath, walk this over to the left side. This time engaging your left obliques so that you can lengthen through the right side body. Lateral lines are really fun in this way because even without focusing on it, we're working on elasticity of our lateral lines, because in order to lengthen one, you have to contract the other one. They're opposing lines, even though lengthening them is exactly the same. Come back into center. And move up into a tabletop. Bringing your hands directly underneath you, your knees directly underneath your hips. And with your next inhale, take the bottoms of your ribs and move your ribs over towards the right side. There's no dip or arch happening in your spine, just some length. And think about squeezing your left obliques, your left side. Keep your chin tucked a little bit into your chest and just peer back behind you. Maybe try to catch a little glimpse of your left foot. On your next exhale, come back into center. And then shift your ribs over towards the left side of your body, engaging, squeezing through your right obliques, and starting to find this little C curve over towards the left side of your body. Lengthen the left side of your neck, find that little glimpse back of your toes. Come back into center, doing that another time on each side. Back over, curving the left side of your body, engaging the right. Back through center, and this time just 2 rounds of those with 1 breath each. Inhaling your ribs over to the right, gaze to the left, exhale to center, and inhaling to the opposite side. Back to center with your exhale, and send it off to the right. Exhale back, and last one, sending everything off to the left. Come back into center. From your tabletop, extend your right leg back behind you. Turn your body to sit down onto that right leg and bring your left foot as far in front of you as possible. Take your right leg and send length out through your heel. So you're lengthening your right leg completely here. If you cannot be up on your hand, coming down on your forearm is totally fine. You're already in a little bit of a lateral stretch here. You can go ahead and rest one arm over your knee if that's comfortable for you. Now, in order to find length on this bottom side of our bodies, make sure that you're really rolled over your hip here. If you're sitting back, if your spine is curved, you're really not going to get any lateral movement here. So instead, we want to roll directly up over onto that hip, open your chest to the side, and start to feel this line run from your hip all the way up through your armpit. And for a little bit extra here as we stay, think about engaging the left obliques and curving the spine just like we did in tabletop to sit you up a little bit higher. Staying here, push out through the heel, find that lateral length through the leg as well. Just like every other line that we've done, you're really going to feel this in the place where the fascial line is the tightest, is the most kind of holds the most tension. For me, that's my hip. For you, it could be somewhere in your leg. Could be anywhere through your side body. Staying here for a couple more breaths. Keep engaging through the left side to lengthen the right. And start to unwind yourself, coming back into your tabletop. Shake out your right hand if you need to. And start to send your left foot back behind you, dropping onto your left hip and bringing your right foot around in front of you. Now, if you're watching the screen, I apologize that my back is to you, but this is also a really nice way to see a different view of this pose. And go over again, if you're leaning back, if you're kind of sitting back onto your sit bones, really pick yourself up, put some weight into your front foot, your right foot here, and help really get over your hip. Flex your back foot, push out through your back heel, and start to engage through the right side of your body to find this nice long lateral curve through the left side. You're pushing up and away from your bottom hand. It's a lot of oblique work as we shift from side to side. One side's obliques are lengthening, the other sides are engaging and working. Even in a seemingly simple, more stretch-based pose like this, making it active by engaging the opposing side. It's really important, really gives you a little bit more out of the pose. A couple more breaths. And unwind yourself back into tabletop. Start to send your left foot back again. Brace your left foot on the floor, turn your right knee out just a little bit and sit all the way up into a gate pose. Moving a little bit if you need to get back onto your mat so that you can anchor your foot just a little bit more. Finding a little bit of length by bracing your left foot, your outer edge of your foot down into the mat, and think about picking up your arch of your foot. Finding some length through your left leg. Bring your right hand down onto the mat. This little half side plank, and send your left hand up above you, up and away. Finding length now from your fingertips all the way down through your foot. And we're really going to actively engage this line by picking the right ribs, the bottom ribs up away from the mat and finding that little curve. Think about sending your chest open towards the ceiling. If you're dropped towards the floor, you're really not engaging through the full line. So the more that you can pick up, open your chest towards the ceiling. And think about finding the greatest distance from your fingertips all the way through your back foot. Breathing here. One more breath. Use your inhale, pick yourself back up to gate pose. Taking just a moment here, neutraling out your spine, finding balance between the two opposing lateral sides. Then take your right arm up, taking a little side bend over to the other side this time. Your hand can be on your knee, just make sure that you're not really pressing your knee back. I really prefer my hand on my hip here. Can now push my hip out in the opposite direction. I'm gonna help myself out here. And this time we're engaging the left side obliques to round through the right side of the body. So we've taken this from more of a passive kind of dumping lateral side stretch by picking up your obliques, making it really active. Think about the C curve that we did in tabletop. Couple more breaths. And back up to gate pose. Come all the way back down to tabletop. And taking a moment here, but then taking your left leg behind you again. This time, take your left foot and cross it just slightly over behind your right foot. So your left leg is long. And we're going to be on a little bit of a balance beam here, so make as many adjustments as you need to. Lift your left arm up and find that little C curve over towards the right, this time stretching from your left fingertips all the way through your left heel as you engage the right obliques to pull you over into this curve. You might glance back if you're stable, catch sight of your left foot. Finding some breath and thinking about a little more length. One more breath. And coming back into center. This time sending your right leg out behind you and opening up into a gate pose. Right leg is long. Arms out into your T again. Just taking a moment, taking a breath. Once again, more balance. Balancing out your lateral bends. And then drop your left hand down to the floor. Your right arm up towards the ceiling just for a moment before reaching up overhead. Ground through your right foot. Think about picking up your arch, making the side of your foot as long as possible. Remember that the side of your foot is part of this lateral line. And then picking up your obliques, your left obliques this time, to really curve into this chest opening. You might even play with this, like if you drop that oblique, feel the length in your spine. And then pick up your oblique and feel your spine really bend over towards the left side. Another couple of breaths. And start to pick yourself back up into that tabletop. Send your arms long, ground through your right foot again. Right hand to your hip and begin to stretch your left arm up and over, away from your left side. I find that in these lateral stretches, breathing becomes even more vital for me. I find that when I'm doing lateral side bends, breath becomes really difficult, and it's something that I have to ask myself to do even more consciously. Focusing on really big belly breaths and the pick up of your obliques. And come back up into center. Move yourself back down into your tabletop. After just a moment here, sending your right foot back and cross it behind your left. Again, just a little bit. This is not like a crazy crossover. Then we'd be getting into more of a twist or a spiral line. Just finding some length. Start to pick up your right arm and find that C curve from the right arm all the way back through the right heel. You're engaging your left side body to look back at your right heel. Taking breath, taking length. Two more. And come back down to tabletop. Taking just a moment here, wiggle yourself out as needed. And sit back onto your heels. Start to make your way up into a standing pose. Just being gentle with your body since you have been down for a moment. Reaching up towards the ceiling. Leave your left hand up there. Take your left foot and cross it behind your body so that you're braced in this little kind of curtsy position. Ball of your foot down on the floor. Your leg can be as far or as near to you as you need it to be for some balance, some stability. And take your left hand, reach yourself up and over. As you do that, push down into your left foot behind you. Counterbalance yourself. Maybe you start to feel a little bit more length through your hip, through the side of your leg. One more breath. And come back up into center. Take your right foot behind you, finding your curtsy again, starting to find the other side. Lengthen your right arm up and side bending over towards the left. One more breath. Back into center. Step back, sit down onto your mat. Take your legs out into a straddle. And take a moment. Don't worry about how wide your legs are really. If you need to sit on a block, you can sit up on a block. We're not super worried about your ability to straddle in this moment. We're just using the straddle for one more side lateral bend. So flexing your feet, push out through your heels. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling, keeping your spine long. Start to squeeze your left obliques and round your body over towards the left side. And just like we did in our tabletop, thinking about opening your chest up towards the ceiling, finding length through this whole line. If you're really engaged, you might feel a little bit of muscle shakes as they're building strength as your fascia is working. Remember that your whole left side is engaged here to open up through your right, so this is really hard work. Two more breaths. And back up. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling and find that bend over towards the other side. Give yourself some breath to get into it. Engage through your right side body. Think about contracting it, hollowing it out to get the length through your left side. Push through your feet. A few more breaths. And start to lift back up. Bring your feet together. Take a little crisscross position. Roll your shoulders down and back. Just taking one more lateral bend. Bring your hands to your shoulders. This one completely active, no help of having your hand down on the floor. Engage through your right obliques. Push your left ribs out towards the left side. Come back up to center and shifting your ribs over towards the right. And come back up to center. Turn on your mat so that you can send your feet straight out in front of you. It's taking a little forward fold as our counter pose to this. In a forward fold, our lateral sides are in balance. Neither is pulling one more than the other. So just to balance them out, taking this little forward fold, just walking your hands in front of you to where it's comfortable. Pressing your knees down towards the mat, thinking about lengthening your spine. I know that we've done the forward fold with engaging our superficial back line where we really round the spine, but not worrying about this here, just letting the spine be pretty neutral. And checking in with your obliques, with your side body, just kind of noticing that even these simple movements, only working on mobility, really engage through the obliques. Once we get to the elasticity portion of the side body, then we'll be doing a lot more work, a lot more kind of flow work, moving through from one lateral line to the other. And sitting all the way up. Start to make your way down onto your mat. And taking one more little lateral stretch. Take your left ankle, cross it over your right foot, and draw your feet over towards the right side of your mat, the right corner of your mat. Leave your hips where they are and bring your shoulders towards the right corner of your mat. Taking just this passive lateral bend here. You might bring your arms up overhead. Taking some breath here as your body settles down. And come back into center, release your feet. And start to find that on the other side, right foot crosses over left, heading over to the left corner of your mat. That passive bend on the other side. And come back into center. Start to settle your body down into your Shavasana. Staying here as long as you can, as long as you need today. Thanking your body for what it's done for you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.